This is Logi-gif. It can take any GIF downloaded from the internet and display it on this circuit I created on a piece of software called Logi-sim. In this presentation, I'm going to show you how I went to this horse GIF on the left to this circuit that displays the GIF in a piece of software called Logi-sim. It'll be explained later on how it works, but first, what is Logi-sim? Logi-sim is an educational tool for designing and simulating digital logic circuits. Here are a few of the many types of things you can do in Logi-sim. You can simulate AND gates, OR gates, NOT gates, adders, subtractors, registers, RAMs, the list goes on and on. You can do some pretty cool / complicated stuff in Logi-sim. I learned Logi-sim in one of my CS classes, and in this class, for our final project, we made a CPU. The CPU works very similarly, although quite simplified, but still pretty similar to how a modern computer would have a CPU. And we also had to make an ALU. So after this project and this class was over, I kind of played around a bit with Logi-sim and realized I had something called an LED matrix. As you can see, 1 means a white pixel, 0 means a black pixel, and you can put inputs to the column. Here, each column is inputted to change what the LED matrix looks like. So I thought it might be kind of fun if I could display real pictures on this LED matrix. And later on, I found out that I could do a whole animated GIF using this matrix. In Logi-sim, the maximum size of an LED matrix is 32 pixels by 32 pixels. So if I were to display a picture or a GIF, it would need to be also 32 by 32. So on the left is a GIF of a horse that I downloaded from the internet. And I use these two commands from the ImageMagick library, which is a very popular open source library. First, I coalesced it to make it easier to extract the individual frames of the GIF, and then I converted it to a 32 by 32 grayscale GIF. Then, from this smaller GIF, I separated it into its individual frames. For each frame, I wrote a Python script to look at each individual pixel of the frame. I would go column by column and figure out what each of the pixels were. Should it be represented by a black pixel or a white pixel? So over here, each line represents a column of the frame. So on the left here, since it's all basically black pixels, they're all 0. And then I would take each line here and convert it into a hexadecimal number. So because I had to do this for each frame, my Python script outputted a long text file. Logi-sim has a simulated RAM, and you can load text files into it. Here, I loaded my horse.txt file. And what the RAM does is it takes this file and it runs really quickly through it, reading all the values in one by one. Here we see one line of the RAM being read into the circuit. Here we do a mod operation to see which column we are currently on. Remember, each line in the text file represented a column in the picture. So now we are updating column 8, and then on the next line we update column 9, column 10, column 11, and so on. Here we see a subcircuit that I made, which takes in the data from the RAM, this line right here, and it says, okay, we have to update column 11 right now. And here we see the column 11 indicator that we have to change it, and it goes into this subcircuit right here. Each subcircuit holds the value of 4 columns. We're inside this subcircuit, and it says here we have to change the 3rd column of this subcircuit, and this is the data that we read in from the RAM, and now this register holds this value, as seen here. So now we read in whatever the register had, column 11 data, and it goes into this column and updates all the pixels accordingly. And then this is column 12 updating its column of pixels. See how it only updates one column at a time. And as this goes very quickly, you'll see that it gives the illusion of an animated GIF. And you can see the numbers changing really quickly. So here are just a few examples of some GIFs I tried out. This is a loading GIF that I found from a website called Imgur. Here's a dinosaur GIF. I wasn't very pleased with this because it looked very low resolution. But since Logi-sim only allows you to do a 32 by 32 LED matrix, I had to think a little bit outside the box, shall we say. And I put together 4 32 by 32 LED matrices and then wired them up so it acted as a 64 by 64 LED matrix. That way I was able to get more high-res images, such as this dinosaur. It looks a lot better in my opinion. Here's another crazy GIF I found, and it looks really good on the 64x64 LED matrix. So some frequently asked questions that I've heard whenever I show this off to a friend. Did you do all the wiring by hand in your circuit? Yes, it was a very intense process. There's no automation really in Logisim. You have to do everything by hand. This is very common when you design real-life circuits as well. How did I come up with the design? I did a little bit of research on how computer monitors work. Of course, they're a much more sophisticated design, but the idea is basically the same. How long did this take? I did this at a hackathon, so it took me 24 hours from beginning to end. And could I make this into a real-life circuit? Yes, of course. All the logic is in there. As long as I have all the correct components, this could totally be made into a real-life circuit. So thank you for listening to my presentation. I had a lot of fun making it, and thanks for viewing.